Man, we are setting the tone, and a friendly reminder when you grow spiritually, everything else gets better. When you get better spiritually, everything else get better. Hey, today we rocking my school. You already know Howard University. Quit playing. HU, you know. That's any anytime we see somebody or know somebody who's from Howard, that's what we say. That's all we're saying. You feel me? We're the real HU we represent today. So some of you know, some of you don't know. Not recently, but 2 years ago I moved to Houston, right? And with moving to Houston, it was a bumpy transition in the beginning of 2023. Now we are in 2025. Things have gotten a lot more calm, a lot more chill, and a lot more relaxed. So when I got to Houston, things was pretty smooth, right? After the bumpy ride. And not too long ago, maybe in the city, maybe it's worldwide, I don't know who to blame, I don't know who to point the fingers at, but what I do know is that people start getting sick. Like, niggas really started getting sick a lot. Like, people had respiratory infections, they had colds, they had flu symptoms, they lost their voice. Shit, I lost my voice. And I realized, like, damn, without my voice, who am I? Like, for real, like, without my voice, without my message, without my communication, what am I doing? I was out for the count for at least 7 to 10 days without medication. I was resting, I was drinking fluids, and casually, I started to build myself back up. But what was interesting was that people around me were sick as well. My coworkers, people I know back in Cleveland. So something was going around, and it caused a physical infection in the body, which leads me to today's lesson of emotional infections. This is going to change somebody's thought process today. This is going to change somebody's mentality today. Emotional infection. You know, when I had that infection, I was resting on the couch and I really wasn't able to work out. I wasn't able to cook my food. I wasn't able to talk to my loved ones besides texting. I didn't really have a lot of energy. And guess what? With that infection, it screwed up my thinking. It influenced and contaminated my thinking process. It influenced my vitality, my energy to do things, right? I was immobilized by this infection. I really didn't have a lot of room to flex like I usually do. You feel me, on the court? I didn't have a lot of room to do that because I was physically enabled. And because my body was physically unable to perform, my mind was as well. Once I recovered from that physical infection, I started to get a revelation. And the revelation is basically thoughts in your mind that transitions you to a new paradigm, a new belief system. And a lot of people, including myself, are experiencing emotional infections. Emotional infections. Now, the internet, the thesaurus, they describe an infection as the invasion and growth of germs in the body. And we all know germs are not good for the body. They don't blend well. So just think about if a germ or bacteria infected your emotional IQ. Just imagine if bacteria started to contaminate your emotions and your feelings. Remember, the difference between feelings and emotions is that feelings, they come and go. It's a current, right? Somebody cut you off in traffic, you feel a certain way. Somebody didn't text you back, you feel a certain way. But guess what? After a little bit of time went by, you no longer feel that. However, an emotion is a summary, is a collective of feelings that's in your body that you give power and energy to by focusing on the emotion. One emotion that I love is peace of mind. Another emotion that I tend to love is adventure. Some might not say adventure is emotion, but you get the idea. An emotion is what you build into who you are. A feeling just comes and goes. So there are 3 ways emotional infections can sabotage you. There are 3 ways emotional infections can sabotage. And I want you to know, sabotaging is different for everybody. And I'm sure there's a multitude of different other ways, but I want to highlight 3 ones right here. When you have an emotional infection, and it's basically emotions that you feel from past experiences that we call trauma, right? Experiences that has happened to us in our childhood, growing up, through other people, is designed to evolve our soul, but sometimes we allow those infections to grow as bacteria in our minds, right? I want you to know this. This is one way that emotional infections can sabotage you, right? Emotional infections can sabotage you through people. People will reflect every ounce of who you are because that's the way the universe works. What do I mean by that? You better catch it. People will reflect every single version that you have in yourself, in your body, right? So it's a spectrum. Sometimes I'm happy and I may come across happy people. Other times I feel stressed and frustrated with finances. I may come across other people who are also struggling with finances, and we create a bond. We create an energetic connection simply because you align and attract with who you are. That's why they say you're trying to get in a relationship, you need to work on self in order to align with somebody that complements your purpose, that complements your identity in whatever season that you are in. People will always serve as a mirror to you. Be aware of people who may reflect this, because sometimes there may be counterfeits of people that you may come across who you don't have a close connection with, and they may try to influence you to think that you are a certain person, but you're not. They may say that you're arrogant. They may say that you're greedy. They may say that you don't care about life. If you know those things are not you, don't allow it to resonate. But there are some trustworthy individuals. Let me know if you got some trustworthy individuals in your life. Let me know if you got some dependable people in your life. There are some trustworthy individuals who reflect the good and bad out of you on different spectrums, right? So people will reflect who you are. They will reflect those wounds that need to be healed. You know, one spirit that I have been battling with is lust. And I know a lot of men go through this and they experience this, but when it immobilizes my purpose, my vision, my plans, I know it's a problem. And I've gotten a lot better with it, but I've come across other people who are also lustful because I have it in me. I came across other people as well on the other spectrum who are loving because I have it in me. So wherever you're pulled towards more, that's the most people you're going to be attracted to. People who have love in their heart or people who are embodied by lust, right? Number 2, opportunity. Remember, with an emotional infection, these are things that you will sabotage, possibly if you're not aware, right? You will sabotage people that you are connected with because you don't see what you see and hear. So you're angry with them. You're calling them out of their name. You're disrespecting them because you think that they're treating you terribly. You think that they're disrespecting you, but do you respect yourself? Where's your own sense of worth? People will come out of that. Next is opportunities. Listen, when a wound has been cut deep, they can interfere with your purpose, your focus, and your drive. When a wound has been cut deep, your opportunities, they squibble. When a wound has been cut deep, your opportunities are small. Let me tell you this. Opportunities are always knocking at our door, right? For that promotion, the idea to go to school, even to be in a loving relationship is an opportunity. But when you have an emotional infection, when you are cut deep from your childhood trauma and you don't want to even look at it or shed light to it, when you are cut deep from that little girl or that little boy that you once were and your parents didn't water you or nurture you or foster you, and now you have a lot of insecurities in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, you sabotage opportunities that could have came to you, but because you didn't see yourself in the light of confidence, oh my gosh. Because you didn't see yourself in that light of courage, Because you didn't see yourself with a healthy self-esteem or self-image, you sabotage that opportunity because of that emotional wound. That emotional wound. Remember, a synonym can be called as trauma. And lastly, your thinking patterns. I love my mother to death. However, growing up, most like other black moms, she didn't take a lot of shit. My battery about to die. She didn't take a lot of shit. Meaning, she meant business every time we got in trouble. We had no room to really share our perspective on our side of the story when we got in trouble. So as a child, that taught me I didn't have a voice. So my thinking pattern was telling me that I don't have a voice. People are not listening to me. People don't think what I'm thinking, right? Your thinking pattern are cycles that keep you stagnant. Who taught you that belief? Who taught you to think that way? And sometimes these emotional infections come from social media. It influences our self-esteem. So when you realize your thinking pattern is unhealthy and you're just accepting it as true, that's not reality. The reality is somewhere, somehow you got cut in an area in your voice and your thoughts and your mind to the point where it influenced and contaminated your thinking. Infections can sabotage the quality of your thoughts and influence how you think about yourself. Hey y'all, my battery got to die, so I have to sum this up real quick. An emotional infection is an emotional wound that you experience from anywhere in this reality. It can be from childhood, it can be from social media, it can be from other friends growing up. It means that you can sabotage if you don't pay attention and shed light to these emotional wounds. Right? You can sabotage quality people into your life, not realizing that they are reflections of you. You can sabotage opportunities because you may not have the courage and the tenacity and the drive and the focus to push through that opportunity because you have an emotional wound where you feel like you're not able or capable to do something. And then lastly, you will sabotage your thinking patterns. How do you think about yourself? How do you think about your life? How do you think about your reality and your abilities? If I am cut deep and I have a wound that's bleeding and that's open and it needs attention, and I have bacteria that's contaminating my mind and this wound, then my thinking patterns will forever be negative. Yo, I'm gonna make a video on how to counteract emotional wounds, how to acknowledge it, how to push through it, how to heal from it, and how to thrive in your reality. Hey yo, we setting the tone, and remember, when you get better spiritually, everything else gets better. Let's go.